Good evening and welcome to NBN's Monday Night News. I'm Colin McLeod. Tonight, a Newcastle Knights fan fined for using a racist slur towards a Penrith Panthers player. The Knights women secure a win in the NSWRL. And New South Wales Country secure a win in a grand final. Also tonight, we'll have the results and the highlights of Newcastle Rugby League. But first tonight, a Newcastle Knights fan has been charged with allegedly using a racist slur towards Penrith Panthers player Nathan Cleary. Follows the Knights' heartbreaking loss last night. And of course, that female Knights fan appeared in the Newcastle local court today. And a warning, this story contains some coarse language. This diehard female Knights fan, who cannot be named for legal reasons, appeared in the Newcastle local court today because of racism charges. And apparently she used these words, for which she allegedly said these, to verbally abuse Nathan Cleary by saying this during last night's Knights versus Panthers game. Cleary, you're an idiot. And also the NRL has since taken legal action against that Knights fan, and also so too has the Knights themselves. And also they've given her a huge warning, and also they've officially said this to her: if you do something like this again, we'll have no choice but to release you. It was during the end of the game that those verbally abusive, offensive comments were made, and also they were too racist indeed. And because of that female Knights fan was refused bail up at the Newcastle local court today. And also because of it, the Knights have now issued her with a $1 million fine indeed. And because of that, the trial and the court case is expected to wrap up on Friday. Colin McLeod, NBN News. And of course, now both the Knights and the NRL have released a statement saying that this type of language at a home game will not be tolerated. And because of that, I managed to quickly go to Newcastle local court, and also I managed to go to McDonald Jones Stadium as well. Going up to McDonald Jones Stadium is definitely the one thing that I had to do, and because of that, that's when I met Diane, who of course is Elijah's mum, and also Elijah works right up at the Iron Horse, which is a well-known pub up at Cardiff in Lake Macquarie. And also all of us were just shocked when one of our female Knights fans said a racial slur, verbally abusing Penrith Panthers player Nathan Cleary. That, of course, has since outraged the public. And also the NRL has since ordered a judiciary to come forward. But however, that hasn't been decided just yet. And also, this has also come as well. Meanwhile, the Knights have released a judiciary of theirs, saying this: If that female Knights fan says that word again, we'll have no choice but to kick her out of all of our home games for good. But also, with the trial and court case due to wrap up on Friday up the Newcastle local court, also, but first, she has to go to rehab first. Yeah, and of course, that type of behaviour is disgusting and it will not be tolerated. Oh, and of course, coming up, the Knights women secure a huge win in the NSWRL. Now, before we have a look with the results of the Knights women, let's have a look at the hard-hitting questions with the Knights men.
None of the boys are that talented, but I'm going to go KP just because of his following. He'll get more followers and support, so it'll just be easy win for him. I'd have to see Gyro Momoisia. Yeah, he's got a bit of a voice on him.
David Clemmer, because he's been playing this massive guitar at training and he's been real good at it, so it's kind of a hidden talent he's got at the moment.
Oh, wow. My roommate, Chris Randall. So he comes out of the shower sometimes, I kid you not, and it's like his hair's suddenly gotten thinner, and he says it's some trick he used to do as a kid.
Actually, Edric Lee, undercover dancer.
Edric Lee, he can sing, dance. He's talented at everything, every sport he's gifted. He's the full package.
Mackenzie Becker, he's got a good voice. Jack Johns, he's actually been bringing his flute around training and stuff. I heard he plays it like an angel. I'm yet to hear it though.
I'd probably have to say Jack Johns. He's pretty good on the flute, but I'll go Jack Johns.
I'd have to say Jack Johns. He's just moved in with me and he's got this new flute. He never stops playing it.
Definitely Jack Johns has been working on the flute lately and pretty impressive, so yeah, definitely Jack.
Yeah, Jack Johns. He's very good on the flute. He loves playing it. Jack Johns, he can play the flute really well.
Little ham and eggs coming at you. Hold on, people. We'll pick out your griddles.
Exactly like Ron Burgundy. Young Chris, he thinks he can sing like Chris Brown. He doesn't. He's not too bad, I guess. I reckon Kurt Mann will go well in Love Island.
Yeah, that was just really funny. David, you know. Oh, and of course, now of course the Knights women had a win over the Cronulla Sharks, 16 points to 6 up at St John's Oval. It was just fantastic for Newcastle. It was just too strong for their rivals over the weekend. And of course, Monica Lee Morris scored try number 1, and then Anika Butler scored the second before Kaylin Johnston scored the third try. And of course, Melanie Howard kicked both goals. The score, of course, the final score 16 to 6. It was good news for New South Wales. They had a victory in the Harvey Norman Women's National Championships Opens Grand Final. Because of that, they managed to beat NRLWA with a 24-0 win. And of course, New South Wales Country's under-19s also came away with a victory in the third place playoff. Round 11 of Newcastle Rugby League and South Newcastle defeated the entrants on Saturday, and of course the Maitland Pickers secured a win over Western Suburbs. Meanwhile, on Sunday, Macquarie defeated Curry, while Cessnock secured a win over Lakes United, and also the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys defeated the Wyong Roos. If there's one thing that we all love about a Newcastle competition, it's a local rugby league. It was Lakes United up against the Cessnock Goannas, and because of that, Cessnock had to score a try right up in the first half. Then they did it once again, just to make it 10-0. And finally a goal quickly made a conversion to 12-0. Lakes United was struggling as Cessnock continued on the good pile. As Cessnock were just too strong for their rivals. But of course the good tenderness came on. The Goannas were just running away with the ball, scoring try after try after try. Even though Lakes United tried to have revenge by scoring a try back or a few more, but it was not enough, with Cessnock securing a huge win. Now, of course, Saturday saw Maitland take on Western Suburbs, and because of that, it was just marvellous for the two sides. Western Suburbs led first before Maitland had to level the scores, right up at 6-all. That's what occurred. Maitland scoring a try after try. And there was no chance of quickly stopping the two teams. The Maitland Pickers were unstoppable right throughout the game. And of course, Maitland knew what to do. They all but continued Western Suburbs' losing run, with Maitland securing a 22-16 win. Meanwhile, to a good one, and of course, South's Newcastle took on the Entrants right up. And of course, it was one of the best matches that occurred, with the South's Newcastle Lions taking on the Entrants Tigers. It was a huge but wonderful match for Souths. It was South's Newcastle taking on the Entrants Tigers. South's Newcastle were just flying it out and also just having a good time. But the Entrants were trying to quickly secure a win in their first in the Hunter, but it was not good enough. Even though the Entrants scored,
great run from the winger. And the Tigers hit back.
That is a crucial try for the Tigers right there. He's done that on his own, you ask. He's gone through the defence of Harry Van Dartle.
the Entrants had 6 points. Maitland had plenty more to score.
Welsh will cross, and the Lions get their third.
It's the Isaiah Yo.
With Souths now leading 16-6. It was just sensational for Souths Newcastle. With Souths Newcastle too good for their rivals right throughout the game.
He's awarded it.
Somehow,
And of course, the try was awarded 22-6. And of course, the Entrants tried desperately to have a comeback, but it wasn't to be, as it was good news for Souths Newcastle.
You ask him for the line, just fires it out the back, rugby style. Still play on.
A massive play on for it was a play on that certainly was.
Mitchell Black, inches from the try line. Here come the Lions. Ernst steps
Souths were in the second half, scoring more tries. It was a massive one for Souths.
It's the half-back stepping off the foot, going back in, catching the defence off guard.
Looking for another one. Black comes to this left.
And of course, Souths were unstoppable, with Souths Newcastle scoring more tries.
Yeah, referee says fair enough. Another one to the line.
and denying their Central Coast opponents a victory. South Newcastle had a good time and of course a good afternoon over the weekend.
And he'll cruise across, and the Lions get another one. That should just do us.
If it was a double-double, that is, or a double try.
He's played an unreal game this afternoon.
Well, would that mean something? He'll play it 10 away. The Tigers.
South Newcastle were just too strong and way too good, as South Newcastle defeated the entrants.
Still fighting for metres. Eventually, Cameron will play at 15.
And also, there were just a few minutes left on the clock.
Space out here. Affleck will go for the corner. Can he get there? Yes, he will.
South scored.
Jacob Affleck gets a double.
And thankfully, South managed to win the game 46-14. The other one was, of course, the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys taking on the Wyong Roos. And of course, Central Newcastle were the first to score a try. And of course, the Butcher Boys were unstoppable right throughout the game. But Wyong threatened to score as well. As it was Newcastle versus the Central Coast. 6-all. It was the Butcher Boys' day. The Butcher Boys were now leading by 12-6. And of course, Central Newcastle had a massive time. But with a massive one, the Butcher Boys were just too good. Try after try, and also there were plenty of good defenders and good players. More tries started to become more huge. 24-6, Central left their Wyong opponents scoreless right throughout the second half. But not for long when Wyong scored a try. But it wasn't enough though. Thankfully, Central won the game 30 points to 10. Meanwhile, in ice hockey, the Newcastle North Stars secured a marvellous double-header win with a 6-3 victory over the Melbourne Mustangs. That, of course, followed by an 8-2 win over the Melbourne Ice, meaning that the North Stars are now undefeated. The weather for Newcastle and the Hunter is coming up after the break. To the weather now, and it was okay, and it was mostly clear for Newcastle, and of course there were large and powerful surf conditions, which of course expected to be hazardous. And of course it'll be mostly sunny by tomorrow. And of course, let's have a look at the forecast for Newcastle. 5 to 18 there is for Newcastle, and also 3 to 17 for both Toronto and Wallsend. Now for the Hunter. It will be the same tomorrow. It will be very sunny tomorrow. And of course, there could be the patches of frost in the early morning, the chance of fog about the upper Hunter in the early morning. And of course, light winds becoming northwesterly 15 to 20 kilometres an hour in the middle of the day, then becoming light in the early afternoon. The overnight temperatures falling to between 0 and 3, with daytime temperatures reaching between 14 and 17. Let's have a look at the forecast for the Hunter. Newcastle 5 to 18. Maitland has 2 to 17, while Singleton has 1 to 17. And so too does Scone. And of course, Gosford has 4 to 18 degrees. And that is it for NBN News for this Monday. And of course, from all of us here for now, good night.